some new speed parts for my 2013 Honda Metropolitan scooter. What we have here is a NR Magic V Classic exhaust kit, complete one. Also comes with the exhaust gasket and a hex drive bolt to attach the bracket to the frame or the. Anyways, it also doesn't utilize the bottom bracket like the stock muffler does. Not sure what the weight difference is. I'll make mention of that later on in the video. I will accurately weigh them both so that if there's any difference in weight, plus or minus, you can always factor that in for a bonus or a loss on speed. So I'm sure with these small vehicles and limited power, they kind of, there's Kit Kat. They kind of, every pound helps. So anyways, right now I'm just going to show you real quick. Right here is the iMap. It is a fuel injector controller. This one is part number 763-1425000. It's a Katako iMap fuel injection controller. And this will allow me to change the rev limit and change the fuel maps, depending on what type of exhaust intake setup I have. I also bought the optional PC interface cable to go with the iMap so that I can hook a laptop computer up to it and change the maps, as it sits in the vehicle. I bought some Alba 5-gram weights, as recommended by Katako. They use 5-gram weights in the variators for testing. I've got a K&N little filter. Gotta buy some spray-on filter oil. I'll do that tomorrow. Got a Katako Kevlar belt. Picked up some thread lock. That'll be for that bolt there. Picked up some anti-seize thread compound. That'll be for the exhaust studs. So that later on, there's only 7 foot-pounds for the exhaust nuts, and like 26 pounds for that one. Or excuse me, something like that. And then like only 12 or 16 pounds or something for the 2 that strap either here or right here. Anyways, not much. It's gonna be pretty easy. Other than that, we'll open this up and show you what's inside. I've already done it myself, but that's why I'll be able to tell you a little bit better what's going on. It's going to be pretty straightforward, although I notice on my scooter the wiring harness is a little bit short coming out of from the engine area up into the battery box. So I may end up having to splice some of the wires, or splicing some new wires to make it a little bit longer, with soldering iron and heat shrink tubing. Otherwise, I may not be able to get the crimper, which, one of those right there. I may not be able to get that down far enough to actually crimp the plugs that come with the iMap. It's got little bullet connectors. And you gotta have the crimper, just enough room. There might be enough room, I'm not sure yet. There's only 6 wires you gotta cut, and then you add a wiring harness in between the iMap and that, and you piggyback some of the wires into the new splice, and you hook them all together, and boom, you're going. Dip switches allow you to run stock mode with a higher rev limit, 10,000 RPM, I think it is. 10,000 RPM limit on option number 2, or dip switch number 2, is for if you have a performance variator with the 5-gram rollers. Dip switch number 3 is if you have the exhaust kit, intake, variators, all set up, with your so-called stage 3 or whatever you want to call it. I don't know what they are. Anyways, so, and then beyond that, dip switch number 4 is if you have the PC adapter cable, you can make your own custom maps. depending on altitude and hilly terrain, whatever, you know. I'm not sure. You can also, I think at that point, would behoove you to either have access to or money for a dynamometer, you know, dynamometer at a little shop, or little monitors that you can attach to your engine so that as you're driving, it'll kind of give you an idea of what's going on, RPM wise, throttle position, etc., etc., so that you'll have a little bit more of an informed options when you go in. I'll show you real quick if I've got the battery power here. Here's the webike website. It's japan.webike.net. Got a lot of cool stuff on there. And this is the program that will be used. Let me get out of the light. You have your 3D view, your RPMs, throttle position, sensor edit. It's your normal view, be a two-dimensional graph. 3D view is a three-dimensional graph. This will all be changed. RPMs, values for throttle position, sensor, etc., etc. So, and then this is the wiring diagram. There's some discrepancies I'm going to change in the final video so that everything will be accurate, and then I'll put that online with all the corrections, because it was just a difficult translation, I'm sure, from Japanese to English. So we'll get that straightened around, make sure that it's absolutely clear, and maybe even actually do a color version too. Anyways, that's later. So thanks for watching. Sorry, I didn't mean to go. I wasn't watching where I was pointing. This is the end of part 1. Part 2 coming up, and thanks for watching.